What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, Crams are here. Arcade Fire Week. If you've missed the previous videos, we ranked the 6 studio albums and we gave you our top 10 songs in earlier videos this week. Go check those out if you missed them. Side 3 today, we're going to be talking about Canada, our favorite Canadian bands. Maybe Cram just has been feeling Canada lately because it's the NHL playoffs and he's got hockey on the brain. But whatever the case, Arcade Fire, Canadian band, most of the members being Canadian. I believe the Butlers grew up in Houston, but they've kind of been based out of Canada and mostly have operated from out of Canada. So today we're going to talk about our favorite Canadian bands, the Mount Rushmore. We've done this before with Prague X. If you don't know what Mount Rushmore is, 4 presidents. That means we get 4 selections for our favorite bands from Canada. So what have you guys got?
Well, first things first, I always have Canada on the mind because it's a great country, great people. There's a lot of stereotypes in the world. The only one that's really true is that Canadians are pretty much mostly nice, very nice people. Love hockey. I feel bad for Canada because hockey's their natural sport, but they haven't won a cup in like 30 years. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh Penguins they just never stop, baby. But also, Joe's got ties with Canada. I love Joe. I love maple syrup. But let's talk about the music, shall we? And my Mount Rushmore of Canadian artists is like, might as well just be pretty damn close to just my Mount Rushmore in general for music. It's pretty friggin' loaded. Couple of honorable mentions I'm going to throw in there, kind of cheating a little bit, but like the Feist broken social scene situation, just missing. Leonard Cohen, just missing. But let's start with this doll face right here. Joni Mitchell on my Mount Rushmore of Canadian artists. She's one of my all-time favorite singer-songwriters. Got a bunch of albums that I've nominated in the past for Album of the Year. She's won Song of the Year for me. I think she's absolutely fantastic. Also on my Mount Rushmore, Arcade Fire. If you watch the Arcade Fire videos or the Album of the Year videos or anything else, or watch the channel or have talked to me personally, whatever the case may be, I love Arcade Fire, particularly the first 3 albums, which are all probably top 50 albums for me of all time, which was pretty impressive. Can't wait to see what else they have on the horizon. And whenever they bring in that, Quebecian French, language into their songs, it's friggin' awesome. And I love it. Also going to throw in Neil Young, obviously has American ties as well, but he's Canadian, likes to sing about America a lot. But Neil Young, probably my number 4 favorite artist of all time. Don't want to give too much away because eventually our top 100 artist video is just going to create our retirement fund for us. But Neil Young, one of my favorite all-time singer-songwriters. He can rock it. He sings about the coolest stuff. He's got some duds in there because the guy just doesn't know how to not hit the record button anytime he has an idea, but that's all right. We've done another cool side 3, whether it's Better to Burn Out or Fade Away, and I say fade away. Just keep on making music, and if we hate it, we hate it, but just eventually you'll make a stud in there. But number 1, the head of Mount Rushmore for me, obviously the Holy Trinity, Rush. They're the band that glued us all together. We've talked about it many times on the channel. They're the shit. They're also just really cool dudes. I love watching Rush's like behind the scenes YouTube stuff. That episode where they all go to like a fancy dinner together and are all just jibber jabbering and stuff. Alex is goofy. Getty's really witty. Neil is just like really peculiar and friggin' brilliant. How can you not love them? They're the best prog rock band of all time, in my opinion. My second favorite band ever. So, I mean, Arcade Fire, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, and Rush, that's pretty much as good as it gets for me, just about. I mean, obviously not my direct top 4 artists of all time, but those are the only artists I could listen to for the rest of my life. I would probably manage to find some joy in it, so.
Yeah. Strong list at the top for Canada. It's interesting, band-wise, I don't know if they're quite as strong, but there's a lot of singer-songwriters and solo acts from Canada, very strong, including a couple runners up, Sarah McLachlan. You also have Gordon Lightfoot, record of Edmund Fitzgerald, all-time classic about, maritime sailing. Celine Dion, Alanis Morissette, plenty of strong there. My Mount Rushmore is going to look an awful lot like Cramser's. I got Neil Young on the list. This is no possible way anyone could leave them out ever. To do so would be ridiculous and insane. Just unforgivable. Also on my list, Joni Mitchell, one of the great, I'm not going to say female singer-songwriters of all time, just singer-songwriters of all time, one of the great lyricists of the 70s, just amazing artists. And, Canadians are supposed to be nice, but Joni Mitchell had a mean streak to her, which I really enjoy a lot. And she really was full of herself, which is great. She thought she was just as good as Bob Dylan, and I don't disagree. Also on my list, Rush, of course, the Holy Trinity. As we say every time we talk about the Holy Trinity, that is Rush. Just the greatest. Geddy Lee, Peart. I've been saying his name wrong for so long that I'm just going to continue to do so. Alex Lifeson, all legendary in their own instruments. Love their 80s work in particularly. My fourth one, that's tough. There's a lot of good contestants, candidates. You got like the New Pornographers, Death from Above, the band. But I got to go with Carly Rae Jepsen instead because she's my girl. She has a new single coming out. Hopefully a new album follows. I got her picture on my wall there, autographed. My only piece of rock memorabilia that I own. So there you go. Carly Rae, number 4 on the Mount Rushmore of Canadian artists.
All right. So I think Cram's coming pretty close with the correct top 4. I think that most people would have something that looks similar. Maybe if you're real into hard rock, you'd have Triumph on there. But yeah, I think most people would go Neil and Joni and Rush, and I am not. But I am going with Rush. I have Rush as well. They're making it onto everybody's Mount Rushmore. I've also got the band. If Arcade Fire is eligible, the band is eligible. 4/5 of the band is Canadian. Levon Helm being the only American. Love the band. Probably a top 20 band or artist for me. Then a band that I shocked the world with in 1969, making my top 5 albums of the year. I've got the Guess Who. I love the Guess Who. Burton Cummings is awesome. Randy Bachman's great. Great songwriting, great production. I think the Guess Who, their hits stack up against anybody. And then I know no one's going to agree, but I love this band. They're one of my favorite bands ever. I've got Sloan on the list. Just fantastic power pop, great pop tunes, consistent as hell, and I love them.
Joke.
I was looking at top lists of the 30 greatest Canadian bands. Didn't see Sloan on any of them. I totally forgot to even mention them. I like Sloan. Sloan's fine.
Guy loves Sloan a lot. I'm surprised Jason didn't say Anne Murray, but it seems like something he's going to get really into very soon when he's like at home knitting and stuff. I don't know, but got to give a special shout out to Daniel Lanois, one of my favorite producers of all time. So ultra Canadian, got to give it up to him. You also got, for the new school kids, you got Drake and Bieber in there, right? They're Canadian. Got to shout it out to them. Alanis Morissette, Ryan Reynolds would be remiss if we didn't mention Alanis Morissette. No, Reynolds is out there watching, so.
I got a
one person that I didn't know was Canadian that I found out just about 4 minutes ago. Sebastian Bach. No idea he was Canadian. Lead singer Skid Row. Great voice, great late 80s metal band right there.
He does love Rush. So that should have been apparently I remember like that one story told he asked his wife to marry him while Closer to the Heart was playing or something. Sebastian Bach, good choice. Grimes is in there as well. I love Grimes. A couple great albums by her. Yeah. Jason, any more you want to throw out there?
Yeah, so normally we do a top 5 on side 3. We only got 4 today, so I love Zeus. I recommended them to Dylan CV on Recommendations. He enjoyed that record. Zeus is a really cool band. You got Tegan and Sarah, Wolf Parade, New Pornographers, Andy Schaaf, a couple that were in my top 10 for 2021, Ada Leah, Julie Dorwan, a band that made all 3 of our top 5s in 1988, The Pursuit of Happiness, I Mother Earth, Rufus Wainwright, Katie Lang, Ron Sexsmith, Leonard Cohen you mentioned already. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
I'm glad we're getting the TPOH love out there. It's the second week in a row we've come back and mentioned them. I mentioned them last week during Don Henley week. Their boomer lyrics. Yeah, they rule. Yeah, a lot of good stuff out there. Canada's, I mean, Rush, Tim Hortons, Sidney Crosby, done deal. Like that's all you need in life, really.
Ooh. One thing we forgot to mention, of course, and we will be called out for this, Gord Downey. He is like Mr. Canadian. We would be remiss to not mention the Tragically Hip. We will be yelled at if we don't. So Gord Downey, Tragically Hip. Rest in peace.
A fan of our channel, and we are a fan of his, Canadian Stud Muffin out there. I'm assuming is Canadian, or else it's just a clever name. So.
And I think everyone should take note. None of us mentioned Barenaked Ladies, and that is accurate.
On purpose. Put on some clothes, you shitty ass musicians.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Leave a comment below with any that we missed. Who are your favorite Canadian artists? Hit the like button, subscribe. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website, merch, and Patreon, all in the description. Check it out. We'll see you in the next one. Go Pens.